Hey guys, it's Brooke. So today's video I'm going to be reviewing and doing an eye look with the new Colourpop Blue Moon Palette, and this released a few weeks ago. It took almost a whole month to get here, so hopefully you guys are still interested in this palette. I believe this is their newest blue palette. They also just released like a pastel collection, I think it is, and I did buy two of those palettes as well, so that review will be coming once it gets here. As well, with this collection, they released a silicone blending sponge. Now, I will do a separate video on this later, but it seems very interesting and I thought it'd be a fun review to do for you guys. Alright, so here is the beautiful packaging. It's very pretty. It says "Meet me in the stars." It has all of the shade names on the back like usual. This retails for $12 and I have not looked at this yet. I am so excited. Okay, the packaging looks exactly like the outside, which I really like. And let's see what the inside looks like. Ooh, oh, this is so beautiful. Okay, so we have a pretty good range of shades right here. This is a stunning blue palette. So we have Lumi, which is a metallic, but it has a blue shift to it. It has a lot of blue glitter in it. Really pretty. This shade, Tide Pool, looks absolutely stunning. It's like an ocean blue metallic, really pretty. And this shade actually looks a little more purple. So I really like the colors of this palette. I don't know what look I'm going to do yet. I swatched the top row for you guys. So this shade right here is Lumi, which has that blue shift to it. Very pretty, like pearlized shade. We have this matte shade, which is Da Ba Dee. I think that's how you say it. I think like da ba dee dee da dee da. I think that's kind of like what it's named after randomly. And then we have this other matte shade right here, which is called Moonlit, not Moonlight, Moonlit. It's a very pretty like pastel blue matte. That would be interesting to see what it looks like on the eye, because usually those shades can be a little patchy. Actually, blue shades all around can be pretty patchy because they're hard to formulate. But that was the top row. Alright, so here's the middle row. I can already say this is my favorite row. Look at these metallics right here. They are stunning. Alright, so this one right here is a matte. It's kind of like a medium blue. So this one is called Starry Eyed. This one is called Billie Jean. It has a purple undertone. It's like a almost like a purpley blue steel color. It's really pretty. And then we have this gorgeous ocean blue, which is my favorite shade of the palette. I can already tell. This is called Tide Pool. And these swatch pretty well for blue shades so far. Alright, so here is the bottom row. This shade right here surprised me. This is a gorgeous, like, deep ocean blue. So this shade right here is called Mad About You. This shade right here was pretty disappointing upon swatch. This is a matte. This is Fine China, and it's kind of like an ocean blue matte, but it did not swatch the greatest at all. And then we have this really deep blue, which is called Clued In. And I believe that is like a matte. It has a little bit of a satin to it, so it may be more of a satin than a true matte. But that one swatched pretty well for how dark it is. The palette swatched, for the most part, beautifully. So let's go ahead and figure out what I'm going to do for an eye look, because I have absolutely no idea. Usually Colourpop shadows, if you do not know, are really nice, and they blend beautifully and they're really easy to create looks with. So usually they are very nice palette, especially for the prices. So I just wanted to throw that out there in case you've never tried a Colourpop palette before, because surprisingly not everybody has tried Colourpop. Alright, so I think I'm going to go in with Moonlight right here, which is this really pretty almost like sky blue, and I want to put that in the crease. So this shade does come off as a pastel, just like it does in the palette, but it seems really nice and it doesn't seem too patchy. I would recommend that since this is a blue palette, you probably want to do your eyes before the rest of your makeup, unlike I did, but that is okay. I feel like you can really build this shade up too. It looks really nice. Alright, that's a really nice shade. I'm really liking that shade. I think I'm going to do two different eye looks. So I'm going to clean my brush. And I really want to play with this like purpley blue right here. So I'm going to go in Dabadi and put that in the crease on the other eye. And these shades do seem a little powdery. Like not crazy powdery, but they are a little powdery. Okay, so with this fluffy brush, as you can tell, this shade does come off actually a lot more blue than purple, and it is a little more patchy. But it does seem to build really nice, which is a good factor for it. But it does seem like one of those shades, like it's gonna kind of stick where you put it. So it's a little more tougher to blend, but it's not completely hard to work with. Another thing when it comes to colored eyeshadows like blue, green, you know, reds and stuff like that, sometimes it pays off to try it with different brushes because it may perform better or worse depending on what brushes you're using. Alright, so far this is what I have. So I'm going to go in with Starry Eyed right here, and we're going to see what that looks like on the outer corner. I feel like this could possibly look pretty similar to Moonlight unless you really build it up. So let's see, I'm going to get a little bit of a denser brush, go right in here. Ooh, this shade is really nice. Okay, so this shade looks like a beautiful aqua on the eye, and it builds really beautifully. I can tell that if you really buff this shade out though, it's going to look pretty similar to Moonlight. Or Moonlit, my bad. They definitely complement each other very nicely. Alright, for this side, I want to go into Fine China right here. I'm going to stamp it. I'm just going to go ahead and say that Dabadi is definitely not the best formulated shade because it is patchy and you really have to take your time with it. Like I feel like I need to go back in and kind of add a little more because I feel like it's kind of fading and getting patchy. So that's something to note. I'm just going back into Dabadi with a flat shader brush and just kind of adding it in. I feel like if you use a little bit more of a denser brush, it really brings out that purple undertone in it. Alright, and for the metallics, I'm going to use my finger like usual because that's pretty much the best way to use Colourpop metallics or any kind of metallics. So this eye, of course, I'm going in with Tide Pool. I mean, hello, it's gorgeous. I of course have to use it. And I'm just going to put that right there. It's really pretty. That's like one of the prettiest blue metallics I've ever used in my life. And I'm also going to go into Lumi right here, and I'm going to kind of mesh it right in the middle. It just brings a really beautiful like light blue halo to the middle of the eye. Hopefully you guys can see that. And for this side, which honestly isn't my favorite so far, I feel like I could use some work. We're going to go into Mad About You just because this looked so beautiful. So that's really pretty. I feel like a lot of this is just like kind of blending together though. Like it all just kind of looks like I used two different shades. So I'm going to go into Billie Jean, and I'm actually going to put this in the center. I feel like this will kind of break it up a little bit. This is a really beautiful shade. Yeah, that added some light to it. And I'm pretty much just going to replicate what I did on top to the lower lash line, and I did wet Lumi in the inner corner, and that really amped it up and made it look really beautiful. So here are the completed looks. I think they turned out really beautiful. I feel like I really could have amped it up if I would have used different shades that weren't so similar in tones and colors on the eyes. That's the thing about blues blues, greens, reds. Sometimes when you have an all blue palette or an all purple palette or an all pink palette, some shades can look pretty similar on the eyes, especially if you use them together. So that's something to note about this palette. I recommend using like a light, medium, and a deep shade that aren't all kind of in the same tone. I would recommend this palette if you don't have any other blue palettes, or if you want more blues in your collection. This has a really nice range of blues and tones. There is a lot of variety in this palette. You just have to learn and know what shades to use together to where they don't look similar on the eye. But also it does come down to the brushes that you use. If you use a fluffy brush and you use this shade and this shade together, they're obviously going to look similar because you're really shearing them out. Maybe use more of a tapping motion and a packer brush or a denser crease brush to use for these shadows, because I feel like it will really help differentiate each shadow. Like when I used a denser brush for the Dabadi shade, the purple really started to come out. So that's something that I recommend with this palette, and I will definitely be playing around with this palette. It's definitely one you have to play around with and get used to, but I really like it for $12. So let me know down below if you plan on picking this palette up or what your favorite Colourpop palette is. I would love if you would give this video a thumbs up, and also please subscribe down below if you have not already. Be sure to check out more of my videos right here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!